If you are a technology professional, especially women out there, then you're definitely going to want to tune in to this live show. Today, we're going to give you a sneak peek into the Women in Tech Summit as part of Initech Dallas that's coming to the Irving Convention Center. So stay tuned. Let's start the countdown. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this very special sneak peek live show into the Women in Tech Summit at Initech Dallas. I am joined by Sean Lowry, president of Prospera Events, who is organizing this amazing conference. It's my favorite conference, technology conference in Dallas-Fort Worth area every year. Welcome, Sean. How are you?
Good, Fanny. You are too kind. Thank you.
For sure. And let's see who's tuned in. I see out there we have Dr. Marcia Thomas. Welcome to the audience and live show. And I see Renee. Welcome to the show. Let us know, guys, where you're tuning in from. We are streaming across the various profiles of our panelists. And so please introduce yourselves in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Fanny Dunnigan. I'm the content strategist for Pathlinks, and I help technology leaders build their brands on LinkedIn to leave an impact and drive sales. So welcome, everybody. I'm here to give you all a sneak peek into some of the amazing panelists and speakers at the Women in Tech Summit at Initech Dallas. So think of this as a preview to the actual conference on April 19th at the Irving Convention Center. You're not going to want to miss all the amazing advice from our panelists here. So let's get straight to it. So if you are out there and you've heard of Initech, be sure to put hashtag Initech in the comments and let us know. And if you are a technologist out there or technology enthusiast out there, please put hashtag technology and let us know who's out there. We welcome all of you to the live show. So Sean, Initech, and especially this special summit, which is the Women in Tech Summit. Mm-hmm. Where did this idea come from, and how did it kind of hash out of your events?
Well, honestly, Initech Dallas has been around for about 12 or 13 years. The Women in Tech Summit's been around for probably 7 or 8 now. And during the process of developing the events, we had a number of great women executives that were a part of the overall conference. And we started just talking about what we wanted to do with the event to grow it, to make it more inclusive, to have great content. And it was, hey, we should really do something specific for women in tech. And then all of a sudden, boom, that was easy. I think the first year we had 150 women that joined us just with the simple thought of this would be great to be able to be in the same room, lots of great energy, and how can I just be a better person, a better professional, and do more.
Absolutely. And I wanted to read this statistic actually from CIO.com, just to share some of the women in technology stats here. While women make up 47% of all employed adults in the US as of 2022, they only hold 28% of computing and mathematical roles, with women identifying as Asian or Pacific Islander making up just 7% of the IT workforce, and Black and Hispanic women accounting for 3% and 2% respectively. So everything that we can do to promote more women in tech and also STEM education is definitely a forward move and something much needed. So I do also want to ask Sean, give us a quick overview of some of the high-level topics and events that are going to be happening here at the conference.
Yeah, I mean, the overall Unapologetic event has 6 or 7 rooms or conference kind of sub-conferences going at one time, and the Women in Tech is one of them, an important program for us. It is supported by the DFW ATW, so the Alliance for Technology and Women there in the DFW area. So they've been supporters of the event since day one, and Unapologetic itself overall is sponsored by Red Hat and AWS this year. So we appreciate that. The event, the Women in Tech Summit, will have a full day of topics. And I think we have some of the speakers here, but really just talking about, how to get the most out of your day, how to be fearless with what you're doing. I think Alicia is going to talk a little bit about being unapologetic. There's discussions on coaching. So everything really here is for you personally, as an individual, just to be better, a better professional development within your own organization.
Yeah, and we get to hear from CIOs and women in CIOs and get to hear their perspectives as well as their advice and insights. So it's a very, very special opportunity, and we definitely want to encourage everyone out there. You're going to see a bunch of QR codes that will flash across, and so you guys please be sure to register for the event. In the meantime, I thought we would play this video from a past event of Unapologetic and Women in Tech Summit. And so we'll run that now for those of you in the audience to give you a peek into the conference.
Great.
Keynote is a brand of a conference. It stands for Innovation in Technology. We have 5 regional events. We have an event here in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Oklahoma City. In each city, it's a regionally based business-to-business technology and IT innovation conference and expo. I'm Sean Lowry. I'm the president of Prospera Events, and we produce the Unapologetic conferences. So it takes about 5 or 6 months to put together the event. It happens in one day. We work with a lot of different organizations, and one of them is EC Council. I think with Unapologetic, because we are regionally based, it's important to work with a lot of different organizations and partner with them. We're here once a year, and so if there's organizations like EC Council that are close by and they're in a marketplace all the time, it's important for us to work together and build something, and then allow EC Council to continue that throughout the year, and then work together once a year for this event.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you for putting this together to bring all the technology professionals, enthusiasts together in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I'd like to now introduce everyone to one of the keynote speakers at Women in Tech Summit and give you a sneak peek into her talk, as well as some amazing career advice that she has to share with us. So thank you, Sean. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thanks, Fanny.
Okay, everyone, please join me in welcoming Alicia Makaye to the show, CEO of GXA and Air Force veteran. Welcome, Alicia. How are you?
Hi, Fanny. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, we're so excited here. I do want to read to everyone your bio because it is so impressive. Dr. Alicia Makaye is the president and CEO of GXA, a Dallas-Fort Worth area IT solutions provider that helps other businesses take command and control of their IT. The A in GXA, she is co-founded the company with her spouse, George, in 2004, award-winning entrepreneur, philanthropist, USA Air Force veteran, wife, and mother of two. She actively advocates causes supporting children, families, and veterans across the globe. And recognized for her leadership, she recently received the 2022 Dallas Business Journal Dallas Women in Technology Award. Congrats, Alicia.
Thank you.
And a variety of other prestigious awards. She also serves on the board of directors of Dallas College Foundation, UT Dallas Diversity Advisory Council, and MPA Advisory Board. She's also a board member of the Richardson Chamber of Commerce, and the list goes on. Of all those, Ashley, just as a sidebar, Alicia, which one would you say you're most proud of?
Really, what I'm really most proud of, I would just say, really being able to serve in my community. UT Dallas is probably the one that I can wave the flag, because it was so hard going through those educational credentials of getting a PhD. But being able to go
Yes.
back and serve and seeing other students cross over and being able to be a bridge, that is one that I'm very excited about.
Well, one of the things we want to learn from our panel today is to learn about your big challenge and a lesson that was a takeaway from that in your career. And for those of you out there in the audience, as we go and showcase these speakers and panelists, drop your questions for them in the comments and we'll pull them up and ask them as well. So be sure to let us know your comments and questions as well. So Alicia, tell us about a big career challenge you had and a lesson learned.
Yes. So I have had the pleasure of being in the field of technology since 2004, and I've served so many different roles, and over the years I've learned so many different new things, new items. I've come in contact with so many different people, and I would say one of my biggest challenges has really been me getting out of the way of myself. And what I mean by that is really embracing my role inside of the organization, really embracing where I sit at in the position that I'm in. It took a lot of years in order to really begin to embrace my career in the technology field, because it was so many stories I was telling myself, and I would say most of them were untrue. It was just things that were building up in my own head. And when I began to really tell myself a different story, that's when things began to change in my career, and as well as in my environment. And then I saw that change with the employees and the staff and the community.
I love that. It's so true. Sometimes we're the only people standing in our own way. And I think that's probably why Alicia's keynote at the Women in Tech Summit is all about unapologetic success. You talk about imposter syndrome when it comes to that. Can you expand a bit more about that and what that means?
Yes. And so I want to just give you a little bit of background about imposter syndrome. It really basically is defined as someone who is doing a lot, has a lot of success, has a lot of accolades, but still on the inside, internally feels like they're a failure, feels like they're a phony. And so someone who basically always feels like they're falling short inside of their own career or their personal life. And so it's a feeling that you have that basically is not able to carry you on into the next level, because there's this invisible wall about imposter syndrome that you have built, and you won't let anyone else cross it.
I love that. And you're going to talk more about that in your talk. Give us a quick overview of your talk at Women in Tech Summit and your keynote.
Yeah, so I really want to, when I come in on April the 19th, I really want to focus on, of course, my flight is being a woman. It's a male dominant industry that I'm in. It comes with its own set of challenges, but it's not challenges because you're in a male dominant industry. It's challenges because we tell ourselves stories that a lot of times don't even sit well. And so I want to talk to and challenge my audience on that day as to what story are you telling yourself when you show up? Because whatever story that you're telling yourself, that particular message you're sending is vibrating through your entire body. And when you have these waves of energy that you're pushing out because you have a story that I'm not enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't solve this problem. Everyone else also is receiving the message, the nonverbal message, whether you are actually verbally saying it out loud, you're actually speaking it internally, but people are getting the message externally. And so you begin to encounter people that treat you like you're not enough. So that's the message that I really want to dig deep into. You say, why is this even important? Women only make 65%, 60% or 65 cents of every dollar that a male makes. So I want to challenge us on that day as to why. Are we showing up, women, as our full selves, believing in ourselves? Are we showing up as with everything on, but are we showing up internally in the right headspace?
Wow. And knocking down that invisible wall and feeling like enough, right? Man,
Yes.
It starts with us. I love that, Alicia. Thank you. We do have a question from the audience for you. Alyssa Swan asks, how did you get started in IT and what inspired you to do that?
Yes, I got started in IT because guess what? I was invited to the space. I have an amazing business partner, spouse of 20 years, that really had this great idea that we can start a managed service provider on our own. And 19 years ago, I said yes. I actually said yes to going down the road of technology. I didn't know that 19 years later, I am still in technology, had no idea. And I didn't know as to the level of success or the problems that we could solve would actually take off. And it ended up taking off on a whole nother different level. So that's how I actually got involved in technology. I do have a background in teaching technology in my professional background. And so it all kind of morphed itself together, and we were able to put our skills together, and here we are now.
I love it. And then just someone in our audience here, she said, especially about that inner dialogue, well said, a positive inner dialogue is so important and so true. So true. Well, Alicia, thank you for giving us that sneak peek into your talk. I'm already excited and I can't wait to hear more from you. And so everyone out there, be sure to connect with Alicia. She is on LinkedIn, and follow her content, follow her journey, and you'll see her keynote at the Women in Tech Summit. So thank you so much, Alicia.
You're welcome, Fanny, and I hope to see you ladies and gentlemen on April the 19th. I'm at 1 p.m., so looking forward to spending a little bit more time with you. Come out and hear my talk. I have a lot to share, and more importantly, I want to make sure that you walk away fulfilled.
100%. Well, thank you. Come on back, but we'll bring you back at the end for some words as well. And for those of you out there, you've been hearing us talk about women in tech. One of the great associations out there is the Alliance of Women in Technology, and they are sponsoring and helping to put together the Women in Tech Summit. So we wanted to give you some background and some of the insights from the Alliance of Women in Technology. So let's play that video.
Yeah, I think what ATW means, especially being a father of two little girls, is ensuring that we're providing the right opportunities, ensuring that we're exposing not just the next generation, but the current generation to promote women in technology and really create the opportunity for growth, for diversity, and for the impact that all of us can make in furthering the technology careers of everyone in this area.
ATW has been a wonderful group of women who support each other in technology, and it continues to build and help women be able to achieve their goals to move up in leadership positions in technology.
Why I wanted to get involved is, I look around when I go to conferences, when I go to meetings, when I go to technology forums, it's all men. We have no diversity within the technology, and I understand that women are making a difference and it's coming up, but it needs a nudge. And for me to make a difference, I saw the advisory board as an opportunity. And now that I've joined, I just couldn't be happier.
I'm extremely passionate about elevating women in technology, taking women to the senior level and taking women to the board level. That's where our biggest deficiency is, but we have to start from the root.
So ATW is such a great organization, and I think we're lucky to have it in our backyard in Dallas. I think it's just so critical to have such an organization that's a nonprofit and it's driving to increase the representation of women in technology fields and leadership.
ATW does a great job of teaching kids about opportunities in tech and teaching them to code, and I think that's the most important thing, to get the children interested and the kids interested in code and tech, and we need more people. It's moving fast, and we got to make sure that we've got the next generation involved.
Getting the next generation involved and promoting more women in tech. Those are some of the values of Alliance of Technology and Women. And that is a great segue to our next panelist, who is on the advisory board of ATW. I want all of you here to join me in welcoming Valerie Freeman to the show. How are you, Valerie?
I am just wonderful and so happy to be here and talk about ATW and Initech.
Absolutely. And before we get started, I want to share with people just a smidge of your achievements here in the tech world, as well as DFW. Valerie Freeman is the founder and CEO of a group of specialized companies whose services include staffing, search outsourcing, and consulting, operating under the names BravoTECH and Freeman and Leonard. Over the years, the companies have been named to the Inc. 500, Dallas 100, and Women's Business Enterprise of the Year. And in 2021, Valerie was inducted into the JA Business Hall of Fame and received the Women Paying It Forward Award from Women Leading Technology. In 2020, she also received the Orby Leadership Award from the Dallas CIO Association and was inducted into the Tech Titans Hall of Fame. Oh my goodness, lots and lots of awards and recognition. She also serves and gives back to the community as vice chair of the board of Prime Women Media, which publishes primewomen.com, an online publication for professional women over the age of 50, which has been named as one of the top 100 best blogs and websites for women. Such a great idea. She also serves on the advisory council of the Alliance of Technology and Women and a variety of other boards. Valerie, looking back at your career and some of those achievements, what is one memory that always sticks with you?
Well, I thought I would be a college professor and started my career on the business division faculty at El Centro College. And that's where I got the information that I needed in the technology world at the time, which was non-existent just about. I realized that word processing technology was going to be the thing. And I also realized that people were scared to death of technology. And so I knew a lot about helping students find jobs and helping them with their performance on jobs, but I knew nothing about starting a business. So I just leapt out there and started my first business, which was to train, place, and consult in this new emerging technology. And so from that, I have started probably through my 40-year career, I probably started 15 different businesses.
Wow.
And I've never known what I was doing in the beginning. I mean, I knew parts of it.
Yeah.
But I did not know how to start a business back in the day. Didn't know how to start a business. Didn't know how to hire people. Didn't know how to sell my services. Didn't know any of that. But you know what? If you have faith in yourself, and I felt like I was pretty smart,
Yes.
that I could figure it out. I could learn,
Absolutely.
and that was part of the challenge. And the fun of it is overcoming these obstacles and figuring out what your next step was going to be. So I tell women all the time, you don't have to know it all. Whether it's starting a business or going after a position that you want, you don't have to know it all. You just have to get out there and ask for it and claim it. So that would be my biggest advice to women today.
I love it. Claim it and be unapologetic
Yes.
to voice what Alicia said earlier as well. And one of the contributions you make to the technology community is being on the advisory council of DFW ATW. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen as the benefits of being part of that organization and what other women can get and men from that association.
Sure. Well, I've been a part of ATW for a very long time, probably 10 years or longer. And I was the chair of the advisory council for about 7 years. And the advisory council, in that video that you saw earlier, those are some of our advisory council members. And we're here to help the organization succeed. But I will tell you that in addition to ATW being the largest professional association for women in tech, it's been around a very long time. And so it's developed really wonderful programs. So we have monthly meetings with great speakers and lots of great networking. I've met so many wonderful women and men in technology through ATW in those monthly meetings. But we do things like Initech. We put together the Women in Tech track. And also we have what's called the ELF. We call it the ELF, Executive Leadership Forum. And that's a big program that we have, a big seminar and conference we have in the fall. Yes. And then we have a program called Great Minds, which helps junior high and high school students be girls, become interested in tech careers. And that's been evolving over many years, and it's a great program. And we also have a program called Ignite. And Ignite takes women who need upskill. They're either returning to the workforce, or they're in transition, or they want to change their careers, and we give them the education and the certification to be able to go out and get a better job. And that's been a wonderful program as well. So our right now we have a boot camp for Scrum Master, to become a Scrum Master and get that certification. And that is a program that is funded by Truist Bank. We also have partners that have helped us with all of our other programs that we're doing. And they're PepsiCo and Capital One and Salesforce. Those kind of companies are coming to us and saying, we want to be part of ATW and want to help these women be able to get better jobs and get higher skills. So that's always been wonderful. So I would suggest, if you're a woman in technology, start coming to the meetings and seeing what it's all about, and particularly come to Initech. I get to put together the Trailblazer panel every year, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's a great conference, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. And particularly come to the happy hour at the end, where you get to have some fun at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And for those of you out there, there's the QR code for the happy hour. Sip, savor, and socialize. It's going to be a great place to let loose and let our hairs down. Yes. And interact and network with other technologists and women in technology as well. Now, one of the panel that you'll be facilitating, Valerie, is all around what happened on the way to the C-suite and what's next.
Yes.
Tell us about the CIO panel that you put together.
Well, let me say that I've been putting together this panel for about the last 7 years, and it has been amazing to find these women, and there are not that many of them, so it takes a while for me to seek them out. There are more than there used to be, but it's still a challenge. And try to find 3 women that have diverse backgrounds that can come together, and usually they're at the C level, in order to talk about their story and learn from their obstacles and learn some of the things that have happened to them and how they've overcome those. The stories are amazing. So my 3 panelists this year, one of them is Jyoti Lynch, and she's the CIO of a company called European Wax Centers. And what's interesting about that company, it's all franchises. They have over 950 franchises in the US. And so she's responsible for getting all those franchises on the right technology and making sure it all works right. So she actually was born in India. And so her story about coming here and actually going up the ladder and becoming a CEO of a big company is going to be interesting. Then we have Karina Reyes, and Karina is the Vice President of Cloud and Platform Engineering for Albertsons. And of course, you know, Albertsons, they have gobs of stores everywhere and they own lots of different brands. And so I can't wait to hear her story. And then we've got, actually, I have heard her story and it's amazing. So you all need to hear her story. And then lastly, we have Heidi Cox, and Heidi is the CIO of HKS architecture firm. And they have 19 US offices and 7 global offices. And they have more than 1,400 architects, interior designers, urban designers, and so on. So all of these women have actually, in addition to the current job that they have now, they've had many jobs with different companies in their career. So it's going to be interesting to hear how they navigated through these different jobs and these different positions, and how they overcome obstacles.
Absolutely. And for those of you in the audience, make sure you take this opportunity to ask any questions from our panelists of their successes and their journey to that, and get some career advice along the way too. So make sure to drop your questions in the comments. And Valerie, what are some of the questions you're going to ask the CIO panel? And what is a key takeaway you'd like the audience to get out of it?
Well, I start off talking about, or asking them about where they grew up and who their influencers were and what did they want to be when they grew up. And it's kind of interesting to hear some of them were completely different from what they ended up doing, and why they went to the college they went to, and what was it like? Were they the only woman in their engineering class? And then I go on to their jobs and what they've learned on the job. One in particular, as soon as they found out she was pregnant, they demoted her. I mean, we've got a lot of stories like that in the past that we hope don't happen in the future. But anyway, the point being, they've had to overcome a lot of obstacles and challenges, and just hearing how they overcame those is really amazing. And so what you're going to take away, hopefully, is that you're going to get a little more self-confidence and motivation to continue your career and to learn from women who've been through it already and are at the C level, and realize that it was worth what they had to do, the struggles that they had to go through to get where they are today.
I love that. And Valerie, actually, for my own selfish reasons, being an entrepreneur, and I would love to hear a piece of advice that you have around being an entrepreneur in the tech space.
Oh, my goodness. Well, just being an entrepreneur in general, no matter what space you're in, there's always challenges, always. And just when you think that things are going great and wonderful, something comes along to knock you down. So you have to be very resilient. And of course, in the technology space, when in the beginning, when you don't have much credibility, if you're a new entrepreneur and you really have only been in business a little bit of time, you have to develop that credibility. And that takes a lot of motivation and a lot of self-confidence, because Otherwise, things the negativity can get to you. So you have to believe in yourself, and you can't give up. I mean, there have been times I have to say that, I thought about it. I thought, this is really hard.
Yes.
And then I'd say, well, you know what? If I'm going to go and work somewhere else, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be hard everywhere. And you don't get to a C level or a CEO level by things being easy.
Yeah.
So my motto is, how hard can it be?
I love it.
It's hard, but you get through it.
Speaking of influencers, who is an influencer to you? Who has made a big impact to your career, Valerie?
Well, what comes to mind is Abby Halliday. And some of you may not remember, some of you younger people may not remember Abby, who owned the largest female-owned residential real estate company in the whole United States. Abby died a few years ago at 103 years old. Abby was so wonderful. She and I served on the board of the Dallas County Community College District Foundation for many years. And what she taught me is that you could be a hard-nosed business person, woman, but you could still be feminine. You could still dress femininely. You could still be nice. You could be diplomatic, and you could still be successful. And I'll never forget her. She used to write me cute little notes and encourage me, because I went up through the ranks and on the board and became chair of the board of the DCCD Foundation for a number of years. And she was always there behind me, writing me these cute little notes, encouraging me. And it's just great to have someone like that to give you a little boost in your courage.
I love that. And her legacy lives on. We still see real estate signs with her name everywhere. And so, yeah, it carries on.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for that sneak peek into your CIO panel, Valerie. We're looking forward to hearing more and seeing you at the Initech Women in Tech Summit conference. So stick around and we'll wrap up together as well. Thank you, Valerie.
Oh, thank you.
And for those of you out there, you heard one of the sponsors for Initech is Red Hat. So we wanted to play this quick video for you all sharing about what Red Hat does. Let's roll that.
Energy and the industrial sector is one of the biggest industries that is transforming over the next 5 to 10 years, all with the introduction of edge computing.
The Solution Center is a collaboration co-working space on the west side of Houston in an area known as the Energy Corridor. We've been working with Intel and Chevron as partners for the Solution Center.
And so what we're creating is kind of an open, safe space for people to be able to innovate and prototype new types of technologies, whether it be sensors or ruggedized devices.
We deploy that hardware into the Chevron lab, and then that's exposed to the outside world for testing. We're accelerating taking these things we've showcased and designed with our customers and partners to get those into production.
Bringing all of these pieces together and allowing people the freedom and the closeness of having this practice space within the lab is what will spark the next set of innovation for these industries.
Okay, folks, now on to our next panelists. I want you all to join me in welcoming Paula Shepard to the show. Welcome, Paula. How are you?
Hey, Fanny, I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You all just inspire me to be better and to do more, hearing everyone's achievements. I want to share with everyone your intro. And I love how you wrote this, Paula. So you start off with, have you experienced a moment when you were afraid? As an A+ honor society, captain of the cheerleading squad, corporate ladder, climbing good girl, Paula Shepard spent most of her life successful but unfulfilled, trying to please others to succeed, until she had enough of being afraid, faced her fears, and stepped out of her comfort zone. And now she's joining us at this year's conference to banish your excuses, take risks, and inspire you to be brave and bold. When she isn't coaching clients or speaking on stage, you can find her trying to whip up dinner with whatever ingredients are left in the fridge. Yes, I know that feeling. But Paula always sprinkles cheese on it to make it instantly edible to her family, empowering us to make bold moves. So please join me in welcoming Paula Shepard. I love that intro, Paula.
Thank you. I think it's so important for us to remember that we aren't our credentials. And as women, we tend to pile on more. We have to learn more all the time in order to get that external validation. And I just want to use that intro as a reminder that you as a human are just inherently valuable without any of those things. Those are just extra, like the cheese.
They're the sprinkles.
Yeah.
I love that. And your talk is all about being fearless. So plan for the potential instead of the worst. And but before we get to that talk, I want to hear from you. What do you think was a big challenge in your career and a lesson you got out of it?
Yeah. So I was shaking my head yes when Alicia was talking about getting in her own way, but I don't think I knew that at the time. I wound up accidentally in government contracting and technology, but I did not have a technology degree. I actually had a communications degree in public relations. So I felt very out of place and found it incredibly difficult for me to speak up, primarily because I tended to be the only woman in the room. And for me, that put a lot of pressure on me. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I did find myself hearing that, well, you don't have the technical degree, and thinking I needed to figure something else out. Ultimately, the challenge became team dynamics. And I found that the communication skills that I encompassed were truly an asset. And I leaned into that.
Yeah, and you also lean into boldness. That's a big part of your talk. Tell us what you mean by that and how that impacts us.
So the word bold and we'll say brave and courage tend to be used in a softer sense. And when people think of bold, they immediately think brash. And that's not what it is at all. We can be bold and we can be assertive and kind and direct. And we can do all of these things and also be professional and respectful of other people. So to me, it's very important that we take what the preconceived definition of bold is and reconstruct it so that women have the opportunity to, and some men, but mainly women, to step out of their comfort zone. Otherwise, there are brilliant ideas that get trapped inside of their minds because they're afraid to speak up in the room and pull that chair up to the table. So bold isn't just in what you say, it's in how you behave and also how you treat yourself.
I love that. We often hear of this term, audacious goals and bold goals. What are some of the examples of that you've seen come across your coaching clients?
The goals are typically, I want to do something, but that's not what others expect me to do. So it's doing what you want to do versus what's expected. Doing what's right for you instead of what's expected. And that for so many people is a huge risk. And when we're talking about a variety of different generations, it could be, you don't want to let your parents down.
Yeah.
You went to college and you got a degree, but you knew in your heart you didn't maybe want to pursue that. You wanted to pursue something else, but you're not sure how that's going to look to other people. And I see that happen so very often, that these audacious goals are better aligned with other people's values and mission rather than our own.
Oh, that hits home to me, Paula, Ashley. I mean, I got into engineering because it was like the safe thing to do because I knew math and science. But now, like, I realize what I really want to do is be with people and be creative and It was a long journey getting there.
But
Like,
so many of your skills, Fanny, that you have been able to incorporate as a result of that and that learning. So none of it is wasted. None of it is wasted. I always say I went to college to get a good job and make a lot of money. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to be standing on Broadway. That didn't happen, but I'm getting to incorporate all the things that I'd hoped I could do in my journey now.
And you stand in front of training rooms and corporations now sharing your message, right?
Exactly. Yes. And on stages.
Exactly. So what would be one key takeaway you'd want the audience to get out of your talk at the Women in Tech Summit?
The biggest kind of umbrella overview for me is that we're always trying to get it right. But by trying to get it right, we are actually getting it wrong. And I explain about this during my talk. So I hope that you will go purchase your ticket if you haven't already and come see the Women's Summit, because we are so focused on perfection, which doesn't exist, that we lose track of being able to make those decisions, take those risks that are going to drive us forward and help us become more fulfilled, which is going to help everyone around us, from our family to our employer.
That fulfillment word, so key as well. And I mean, as I kind of reflect back, like all these key words, boldness, fearless, unapologetic, they all tie in together. And I guess it all still ties back to our mindset, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely does, but I think there's a little bit more of a holistic view of that, because before you can shift your mindset, you have to know what you want to think and what you believe in. If you have no idea who you are and what you believe in, there's no way to accurately shift your mindset, because you're shifting it based on someone else's perception and perspective versus your internal voice outward.
Absolutely. Well, Paula, I'm so looking forward to your talk. Everyone out there, be sure to connect with Paula Shepard, communications and leadership coach, so that you can join her at Innotech and the other women leaders here and hear their career advice and insights. And I want to bring back all the panelists as well as Sean here to share some of their final words. So let me do that right now. Welcome back. Okay. And so as we kind of lead up to the event on April 19th, I'd love to go around the table here and have you share, what are you most looking forward to at the event? Let's start with Alicia.
Well, really, what I'm most looking forward to is meeting all these wonderful faces and ladies and gentlemen out there. Anytime I go to the Innotech conference, I am in business to do business. And so I love it because there's going to be vendors there. I have hired vendors from the Innotech. They have been part of my organization. So I'm always looking to learn more. I have also been professionally edified and basically lifted up to a next level. So if you are looking to be fed all the way around, we are here to feed you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Feed our brains and our stomachs.
Yeah.
And our souls. Yes. Valerie, what are you most looking forward to at the Women in Tech Summit?
Well, I'm very much looking forward to hearing all the speakers, not just the ones on my panel. Paula, I'm looking forward to hearing you. And of course, Alicia, I've heard before, and she's an awesome speaker. So always glad to hear her. And also there's an exhibit area. And so I always look forward to going around and seeing who's exhibiting and what kinds of new technologies there are. And then, of course, ATW also has a table for membership. So I'm hoping that I always go around and say, are you a member of ATW? And if they say no, then say, you have got to be a member. So
Yes.
I pretty much push that. And then there's the reception at the end, which is always fun to relax and have a drink or two.
I love that. And you all have lots of fans in the audience. David Ball says, Paula, very impressive and really enjoyed your great mindset. Me too. And Patty reinforced your point there about do it scared and do it anyway. You'll always face obstacles on the road to success. Absolutely, Patty. And Alicia, a comment for Alicia, you rock, amazing businesswoman. You all are amazing. And I want to kind of share also from Sean, like as you kind of look at this panel and all the speakers that you've put together and invited, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, I think I'm going to hire Alicia as my new spokesperson. So all those kind words. That was nice. But no, I get excited to be at this event every year. The energy is amazing. Getting 200 to 300 women in one room together and watching how things progress throughout the day is just a lot of fun for me, and it's very enjoyable. And that's why I continue to do it year after year. It's just a great program.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for contributing your advice, your insights. And for those of you out there, we have been pulling up the QR codes. Please, please make sure you register at Women in Tech Summit. We'll pull that up as well. And we'll also drop the links for registration as well in the comments. And be sure to connect with everyone here, Paula, Valerie, as well as Alicia and Sean. They have all made such an impact to the world of technology and business as well. So be sure to register. Any final words from our panel here?
I want to, BravoTECH's been a sponsor. BravoTECH's been a sponsor of the Women in Tech Summit for years. And so I want to thank Valerie and Andrew Jackson for their continued support of the program.
Yes, Valerie, give us a quick insight into what BravoTECH does.
BravoTECH does staffing, outsourcing, consulting in the IT space. So we've been doing it for 25 years, and feel like we know what we're doing and do it well.
Absolutely. And Andrew Jackson will be speaking at Innotech as well about some hiring trends and insights, right?
Andrew is my partner in that business. I had several businesses before, and he came along and wanted to start BravoTECH, and so we partnered, and it's been a great experience for 25 years.
Awesome. Alicia, did you have a final piece of advice?
Well, I just cannot wait to see Valerie again. Y'all don't know, this woman is a powerhouse because she invited me with open arms in the technology field. I am in DFW ATW due to Valerie Freeman as well as Aries. So thank you so much, Valerie, for just opening up your arms to all of us and bringing us along on your journey. You are very much so appreciated and celebrated in our community.
Thanks, Alicia. I appreciate that.
And Paula, final piece of advice.
Oh, final piece of advice. So I guess going into the conference, for me, it's all about curiosity and connection. I step into that space I've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, and I try to use those in proportion because there are amazing people like Alicia and Valerie who add so much value. And it's not just the work that they're doing in the tech space, but also the way that they inspire people in their everyday lives. So I'm driving from Austin. I'm coming from Austin, and I am so excited to expand my network to the DFW area.
Awesome, awesome. And for me, I'll also be speaking at Innotech all about building your tech legacy, leaving an impact and LinkedIn branding for tech leaders. So everyone, please join all of us as well as some of the other amazing speakers, everything from Unapologetic Success, which is Alicia's keynote, to what happened on the way to the C-suite, hearing from our Women's CIO panel with Valerie, as well as Fear Less, Plan for the Potential Instead of the Worst from Paula Shepard. So register, be sure to do that, and we'll see you on April 19th. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our live show.
Thanks, Fanny. Appreciate your help.